Hey, everybody. You caught me again. It's another one of those Fridays, I was shoving food in my mouth backstage there while I was talking to Tina, and I got a funny story for you. But let me say hello to everybody and then introduce you guys to our guest tonight. Hey, CB, Hugo Homestead, thanks for being here. Hey, Lisa Colovi. Everybody just say a prayer for Lisa Colovi. She's got a family member that passed away, and I just want to make sure that we all offer her our condolences. Wonderful, wonderful woman. I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope she's not mad at me that I said so, but just offer her your prayers, please. Holman's Homestead. Hello, you guys. Hey, Barb's Country Home. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Tony, our cabin in the woods. I got your email and I responded. Thank you very much. I did see that, and I gave you additional info about Tyson. Hey, Xander's Dark Lord Minette. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Xander's waving like a crazy person. Hello, hello, hello. Just want to get here. Thanks for coming, you guys. Hey, Gwen, Broke Cowgirl. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for offering your prayers. I appreciate it. Lisa Colovi is here every Friday night, like a bunch of you are. And Lisa treats this like a job. She literally will tell me, I'm not available this day. I'm not available tonight. Hey, we're running late. I mean, she's serious hardcore moderator. So thank you. Hey, Suburban Hillbilly. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Molly. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. Hey, Grape Jams. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you, Scott. Rambling with the Brums. Appreciate it. Thanks, Lisa Colovi. I'm glad. I didn't ask you ahead of time, and I really should have. So thank you. I think I know you well enough after all these years. Hey, Andale. Hope you're doing well tonight. So I'm going to bring up Tina because, oh, thank you. Hey, Glenda Grayson Fire. Hope you're doing well. So I'm going to bring up Tina, and then I wanted to start with a story because it was kind of funny. I had to message Tina and say, I may be a few minutes late. So, but let me bring up Tina. So this is Tina from Life in the Piedmont, and she has an amazing channel. Excuse me, lots of canning and stuff like that and food preservation, which I love. Oh, that's awesome, Suburban Hillbilly. I love it. I love it. I've got tomatoes coming in, but not 50 pounds. But man, that's awesome. Hey there, Sherman's. Is it family? I hate this thing that I can't see the whole name. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Very kind of Scott to send everybody over. Thank you very much. But I'm going to bring up Tina right now. So come on up, Tina. Send everybody over. Thank you very much. But I'm going to bring up Tina right now. So come on up, Tina.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey there. Do you have a separate window open?
I don't know. Are you echoing?
Yes.
Hey there. Do you have a separate window open? Let me see. I don't know. Are you echoing?
Perfect.
I guess I did.
That's perfect. No worries at all. It's gone.
Okay.
Hey there, Jody Young. Hello, Tina Ladybug. Thanks for being here. Tina Ladybug, it looks like she's on vacation and enjoying it. Let me tell you. But everybody, this is Tina, Life in the Piedmont. So let's give her a warm welcome.
Thanks, Lisa, for having me. I'm happy to see so many familiar faces here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Well, we appreciate you being here. We've wanted to do this. And so I just want, before we get into your interview, I wanted to tell them, well, what I think was a funny story. And unfortunately, Tina already saw it, heard it. I mean, excuse me. Friday's just crazy. It's crazy. So the really funny thing is, you know, we got everybody fed and we sold all the piglets. Yep. Sold all the piglets. We've also got some changes coming here for us. I'll get to those at a later time, not tonight. I want to wait until everything goes through. But the exciting thing is someone came and bought 6 piglets today. So that's woo!
Yay, Lisa.
Because I had 14 and we're keeping 2. And we've sold all that we needed to sell, which is awesome. Hey, Rambling with the Brums. Hey, Lazy Days Ahead. Thanks for the love raid, Scott. Appreciate you. And it is Sherman's Family Farm. So sorry about that. I can't see the whole name on here. So anyway, we get everybody fed and it's just been a crazy day and running around, and you guys can relate to this, right? Well, Ryan and I are having a conversation and we have a picture window that looks out on the farm, and he's standing up talking to me and I'm sitting on the couch and he says, "Look at this." And I said, "What?" And he says, "You need to look out the window. There goes Fiona, 6 piglets in tow, romping across the front yard, not where they belong." So Fiona had busted down, believe it or not, the short cattle panel or a hog panel, because what happens is we let the mamas go out to graze during the day while we're here, because the piglets can fit through things. And then if they get lost, they can't get back in and something could happen to them. So what we do is we put them back in their pen, so to speak. And as time goes on, the mamas get mad. They like to free range like they usually do. So we closed up her pasture gate and she decided to bust out another one. So there she was. But thankfully, yes, runaway piglets, trust me. But the good news is Ryan got the piglets back, and Fiona, who's not always easy to get back in, I got her back in with a feed bucket, so that worked out well. Usually she's like, "I want grass, I'll see you later." But yeah, that was about, 15 minutes before we started. Ryan was fixing the fence. So yeah, it's just a crazy day. I'm going to go to the chat just real quick because I saw some folks come in. Norman needs a helmet. Wait a minute. Let me go back to that. Ann Dale is a new friend of Life in the Piedmont.
Thank you.
Norman needs a helmet for the hailstorms. Yes, he does. Actually, all the pigs are really good, Rebecca. They tend to get a little startled when it hits the metal roof, but then they run back in. They do know to run back in. Norman needs a helmet, hashtag. Hi, Yogi Hollow Farm. My new boss sounds just like you. Every time she talks to me, I think of you instantly. It's craziness. Oh, I hope it's a good thing, not a bad thing. I've been people's bosses and they were like, They used to have names for me, I'll tell you that. Hey, Joyfully Orange. Blessings to you all from Deborah in West Virginia. Welcome, welcome. I loved your piglet video on Instagram today. So darn cute. Yes, those piglets love to do death naps. They've now done 3 or 4 on me, which I never dealt with last year. So it's pretty wild. Runaway piggies. Yep. I just want to make it down to the end of the chat. Bust a move. Morning, Blue. Hope you're doing well. Oh, there goes Diesel. Yeah, grape jams. It was really, I apologize. Diesel will stop. My husband walked outside. That's what happens. But yeah, that's what happens when they take off. But this is the one thing that I absolutely love about the Kuni breed. They all know their name. They all know our faces and know us, and they come running to us. If we had a commercial hog, they'd be gone. They would not stop. They would not turn around and go, "Oh, hi, are you going to pet me?" No, they'd be out of there. So I love this breed because, and they're also very good at walking by the window every time they get out. That's a good thing. If they went out the back way, I'd never know it. So that is one thing I love about raising these guys is they're so manageable. Let's see. Am I the only one that grew up in the country when you had a grease pig contest during field day? During field day, yes. But I will say this, I've been to grease pig contests, so I do know that. It is funny. All right, almost through it. I'm sorry, I got so behind. Excuse me.
It's all good, Lisa.
Haha, nope. They did grease pigs at our country fair. All right, let's see here. Thanks for being here, Molly. Yeah, bad dog. There's a guy giving pigs away, but you have to catch it. Yeah. Yeah, they are very smart pigs. Very, very friendly. Very social. So it's been awesome. And I apologize, Diesel will stop. How has rally month gone so far? The numbers are extremely down, most. Drug arrests are up, DUIs, and there's been a lot of fatal accidents. So it's really sad. It's really, really sad. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not a fan of the biker culture. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. The reason why is because sadly, and I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of them are rude, at least when they come here. Very rude. So not a fan of that. Hey, Craig, Tim. Hey, Denise, Green Granny too. Thanks for being here, you guys. So yeah, so I'll be glad when it's over. It ends on the 14th and then we're over it. And then the rest of the year is absolutely beautiful. So what is rally? So it's actually the Sturgis Rally, which is a very famous event up in Sturgis, South Dakota for bikers. And you can look it up on the internet and it brings a ton of people to South Dakota. And it's wild. It's wild. I don't go because I don't care for it. Not my thing. But a lot of people come there. So it's pretty crazy. But it was wild to see that the percentages were down many days of the rally. But they're just, some of them are just downright dangerous driving on the roads because they go all over the Black Hills. So like our town closes down. We have 4 lanes of traffic in our town. It's not because we're a big town. It's because of the way they did things in the olden days. You know, they had certain carts, I think, with oxen or something. Craig will laugh at me because I can't remember exactly why, but so they closed down 2 lanes of it to make room for parking for bikes. That's how big it is. And yes, it's a ton of money to South Dakota. Absolutely. Like I said, when I used to commute to Rapid City, not a fan of them because they like to blow the red light and block off traffic for 25 minutes while they all get together and go through rather than follow the traffic law. Just not my thing. So, but thankfully it's almost over and we'll be back to our normal lives, which will be really cool. So I just stay home on the farm and watch pigs running by. Yeah, I have enough hogs running around on the front lawn. Exactly. It's just not my thing. That's all. You know what I mean? My dad rode a bike and I used to ride it. So sounds like Washington, D.C. Beltway rides during specific holidays or funerals. Yep.
Yeah. Here in D.C., they had Rolling Thunder always during Memorial Day. And I remember when we first moved out here, we decided to go to Arlington Cemetery. And I'm like, what is up with all these motorcycles? What's going on? And we didn't know it was Rolling Thunder. It was a sight to see. It was like everybody was really cool and yeah. It was fun. But I would never go again because it's just too much, you know. But yeah, it was fun to get like spontaneously caught up in that. Not knowing because you're new to the area, but never would go again.
I think it's great because there's a lot of people who go and they have a great time and they have no problem, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So sadly, it's just the bad apples. But again, like the tourism, right? We have to put up with it because we live here. We choose to live here, and I wouldn't trade it. But it's definitely different when they're here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have a friend of mine who's dying to come out to it, and I'm like, yeah, have fun. You can stay here.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money. I mean, right on down to rental houses.
Oh, I bet.
People, rent their homes out for, 10 grand for a weekend.
Wow.
That's some good money, let me tell you.
Absolutely, that is.
So, hey, Blue Collar. So, Tina, tell us about you and your channel, and what do you think people want to know about you?
Well, that's a good question, Lisa. I'm a pretty open book. I started my channel just to have fun with it and kind of just go back and see how I've grown in my preserving and gardening and stuff like that. Kind of like, I don't want to sound too morbid or something like that, but my kids can always go back to it, right? And look at me back in the day.
Yes.
My channel, I just look at it as maybe just being a part of a community that just comes together and just supports each other and, feeds off of each other, different ideas and different techniques and what works for you, something you don't think about. Believe it or not, I'm not even from Virginia. Originally from, should I say it, Southern California. Moved here, gosh. What year did I move here? It's been so long. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And we moved here. We have our property here. We have about 3 acres here where I have, like I told Lisa, I only have 3 chickens now because a fox got the rest. And I have just 2 Nigerian dwarf goats. They're nothing but for entertainment. They're wethers. And they're just fun to have. And so, so we've been living here for about 8 years, I think now. And I have my garden. I have my garden in that. So I don't know. My channel, I think it's fun. But Well, maybe it's moving forward, so I'm thankful for that. So whatever I get out of it, I'm always thankful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I've met you. I mean,
there you go. We've met each other. We've met a lot of people doing this.
Yeah. So that's a great thing. I mean, YouTube isn't my only social media account. I have followers on Facebook for my other things that I do on the side as well. So, but yeah.
So one of the things that you seem to do a lot of is food preservation.
I do. I think that really comes from my family roots, and especially my grandmother was a big influencer on me. She was always stocking and preserving something, both her and my mom. I remember many times they would go down, because Southern California gets really, really hot. And so they had a place along the coast near San Diego, and every summer they would go down there and can because the weather was cooler for them. And
that's awesome.
Canning, preserving food, it goes beyond, it's about feeding your family and knowing what ingredients are going into it. Now, mind you, I don't grow everything that I can because I'm one person. So I do supplement a lot of that. I have a business where I deal with a lot of the Amish up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So I get a lot of great deals from those people who I've made friends with and have relationships with now for over the past many years. So I will go up there and pick up produce, My goal with preservation is continuing to put food on the shelf for my family and for if anybody needs it, that's in need of food. I want them to know that they can come to me and here's some tomato sauce, or here's what do you know what I mean? I've canned chicken and stuff like that. So
you've canned some really good stuff. Craig Tim said, enjoy your 3 acres, Tina. We have 2.5 and enjoy it. And
I do. I every morning, Craig, I'm still in awe over the fact that the Lord trusted us with this property, because we didn't really think where I live, I just never thought we'd be able to afford property where I live in Northern Virginia, to be honest with you.
I get that.
And it's like that all over. I know it's not just for me, but I am doing and I haven't mentioned it a lot, but I am canning with a purpose this year.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to can just a can to put something up there. There's things I will never can again. Like, I'm not wasting my time and I'm not wasting my money on it. But I'm going to can stuff that I know that I can go pull and make dinners out of. So that's my focus this year, and my purpose is canning with a purpose. What are the things?
That's really smart. That's really smart. That's kind of like our new focus. We're trying to move to a bit of a different model. And I admit I was the one who just grasped at things. Like, I wanted it, I got it, we're getting it, we can do it. And we can. But I think that a part of it is, like I was telling you earlier, the winter last year was brutal.
Right.
Me being down for a month was hard, and not being able to do chores, which is my job. So, we're trying to move to a different spot and really focus on the things that we use the most, and also scale back during winter. So that way we have a lot less here in the winter and then scale up in the summer. Now, we've been doing that all along, right? With meat birds and stuff like that, but we're trying to do things in a different ways. And I think it's that purpose driven, like you said, canning with purpose.
Right.
It's the same thing with trying to really have a purpose and refine the purpose that you're doing, if that makes sense.
Yes. My daughter just texted me asking me if I was still live on YouTube.
Yes, I am.
I'm texting her back. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
So that's my goal. And I'm not done canning. Yesterday I did salsa. Was that yesterday? I don't even know my days half the time, but, I still had a bunch of Roma tomatoes left. And I was like, well, what I do is I will just bag them up and stick it in the freezer. I don't stress over getting all of it done because, again, I'm one person and it gets tiring standing there canning and chopping everything up. So I'll just stick it in the freezer and then maybe come back to it, later in the season and through the fall and winter time as well. I will also preserve that stuff that I've shoved in the freezer, over the summertime because it needs to be processed.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. So, hey, Brenda, Freedom Redbird.
So,
and a lot of people are agreeing with you, canning on purpose and not canning items you don't want to can.
Right. Because it's like, would you go to the grocery store and buy that and waste your money knowing you're just not going to have it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh, that's interesting, Gwen. She said she froze tomatoes one year to can later. She won't do that again. I loved it. I did it. Now, I didn't can them. So let me say that I didn't can them, but because we didn't have enough, obviously, and Gwen knows that. But one of the things, what we did was we froze them. I cut them, cored them, and washed them, put them in the freezer. Because we don't get like 50 pounds at one time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ribs. So one of the things that we do is doing that, like she said, and I really liked it because they quickly took the peel right off when they defrosted. Now, I made sauce that I froze. I didn't do canning, but I thought it was really good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I like to do come the end of the year, it's known as yard sauce. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but you take all those leftover items from your garden or things that are going bad and you chop everything up, tomatoes, onions, peppers, whatever you have. And I roast all those vegetables in my oven and then puree it. And I turn that into a fabulous pasta sauce or pizza sauce or something and can that up. That is absolutely delicious and something I'm going to be doing again. I do it every year because now I'm out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jody, I have a freeze dryer and I do freeze dry my fruits and my veg. I freeze dry everything.
I don't have a freeze dryer. I do have a dehydrator and I enjoy that. Will I ever have a freeze dryer? Right now, spending the money on that is not something I can say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, totally get it. It's a huge investment. I mean, I bought it when I was working.
Right.
At the time. And it seemed right for us. And that's why I made the leap. And I did it. And I'm glad I did for me. But it's not easily something easy to have. It's not.
No.
And I can tell you, we had the other day, I took the whole thing apart and washed it and cleaned it. And I went to do a load of my onions that I harvested, and it wouldn't pull a vacuum.
I saw that.
So it was a couple days later. Yeah, I did a video on it. So one of the things that Ryan, my husband, took a look at it and right away saw that I did not have things put in the way they needed to be. Like, in other words, the ring was not completely on the dryer.
Right.
So thankfully it was an easy fix.
Right.
Let's see.
Aside from preserving the food, you know, some people may call me a prepper. I don't know how many people have been called a prepper. Some people think we're probably these crazy people. But, you know, I'm going to tell you, without getting into too much detail, is that my ability and my skills that I've taught myself and I've been taught through my mom and my grandmother have helped me and my family during difficult times.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to say. So it doesn't matter what, and I'm just thankful that I enjoy doing what I do, because I mean, I'll tell you this, in my shop, I had a young lady come in one day. She was probably 20 some years old, and she wanted to buy something, but she didn't. And I said, well, you can freeze it. And she looked at me. To this day, this is my story I use. She goes, I don't know how to freeze it. I said, what? She goes, I don't know how to freeze it. Yeah. And so I had to tell her what to do to freeze it. And I thought, oh my gosh, what generation do we have growing up here that doesn't know how to freeze something? So
yeah, my kid has, gosh, I hope he's not watching, but probably not. And if he is, good. You know, I think that he knows why we do what we do, but I don't think he grasps it. Like, he thinks it's cool. I don't think that he grasps it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Ariella said, lucky to have all the Amish and the Mennonite stores. I have none by me. I have Googled them and searched them. One thing that we do have, which is a different community, which is a Hutterite community.
Yeah.
That is located East River.
Okay.
In South Dakota, which is very far from us. However, they do drop-off points. You order ahead of time and they deliver. Right. So before we had pigs, we ordered like a half and a whole pig from them. Their food is amazing. Their corn is amazing. So I think that's what we do, is we don't have those opportunities to buy from the bulk Amish and Mennonite stores near us. Somebody get these thousands of figs from my tree. Rebecca, I would love to come get your figs. I would love to have a fig tree. I wish I was closer. Let me just get caught up, because I'm really, really behind on comments, if you don't mind.
No, part of my business, I don't have the brick and mortar anymore, but I do it out of myself, is all Amish goods.
Good deal.
That's, I mean, I've met friends up there just from going up there, but dealing with my business, I've met even more friends, and I have access to things now. And so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been very helpful.
Yep. Hey, yeah. Mountain Grandma. Hey, Arc Wildman. If I missed you in the chat, I'm really, really sorry.
Hey, Mountain Grandma.
Hey, Kill It and Grill It. I hope you're doing well. Drive safely, please, please, please. Nisi at Free Hanley always talks about when they lived off their pantry when her husband lost his first job and it fed them for over 3 months.
Exactly. Does anybody here do the pantry challenge with Three Rivers Homestead? She always does that. She did one in the summertime, and she did one. She does it always after the holidays, and And you kind of set your own goals. And I did this in January, where we ate out of our pantry for the whole month. Like I learned a lot of things about this food that I had here, the things that I've canned. And that's what made me go to, hey, I'm going to be canning with a purpose this year, not can just to can. But
Yeah.
over the summertime, I did it once again and did a whole entire month. But this time I allowed myself no more than $50 a month to go to the store for certain items that I don't preserve, that maybe, there's no produce in the house because my stuff wasn't growing yet. So it's a really great way to really test your homestead and, how long can you really go if it ever came down to how much food do you have that you can get through for. That's
absolutely. We started it just because locally it's very expensive, right? Well, obviously we started the homestead for a reason, right? We don't need to get into that, but what I'm saying is back with prepping things that say are not necessarily that are come from the grocery aisle versus our homestead, right?
Right.
It's very expensive to buy locally. So what we end up doing is making a trip, to Rapid City and getting all our stuff. Well, the reality of it is I don't want to do that all the time because I'm not working there anymore. When I worked there, it was different. I was there all the time.
Right.
So when we go, I bought 450 pounds of feed there yesterday when I was there. And then today we went 40 minutes the other direction and bought almost 500 pounds of pig feed. You know what I mean? Because you want to make those trips because it's not worth it.
Right. That's right. And I do monthly trips to Lancaster now, and I take orders once a month from my customers because I'm only 2 to 2.5 hours from PA. And so when I go up for those orders, then I have my list of things, and my customers buy all their produce through me because of the prices I can give to them, because of the prices I get from my friends in the stands. Where can you go for 25? What did I pay? 25 pounds of tomatoes for $15.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can tell you this, the more we get into the season and fall starts coming, those boxes of tomatoes will be knocked down to $10 and sometimes $5.
I was just looking for my phone because usually it's here, but I just ordered from Black Hills Bulk. We ordered tomatoes, green beans, and corn.
Yeah.
And we did that. And, usually I'm like, no, I'm not going to can all that stuff because it's not what I'm growing and blah, blah, blah. But I said, you know what? And I can't remember the price, but I'll have to let you know. They were pretty reasonable.
So I did 150 ears of corn for 100 ears through my Amish friend. It's $29 for 100 ears.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. And then I think he charged me $14 for 50 ears, which I'm going to go back up and get more. Because I
think it was close to that because I think it was like 42 ears or something like that.
Yeah. They're all the same. Unlike my area, I don't know how many of you others, you want to support local farmers because it's important. But when you go to the farmers markets and stuff like that, and you're looking at the prices of heads of lettuce and cabbage and stuff at, like in my area, $6 and $7, I shake my head because I'm like, who can afford that? If you have a family, it shouldn't be, but that's just me.
I was watching a movie last night and I finished it.
Sherman, go ahead and connect with me. That's fine.
I was watching a movie last night. I can't remember the name of it, but basically it was about food safety in the United States. And sometimes they tend to be a skewed opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, somebody has a purpose and whether you believe in one side or not, right?
Right.
But one of the things they were saying was the guy had said he would never buy romaine lettuce ever again.
Right.
And that really got me thinking, and it's dumb. I should think of this, right? But it really got me thinking, he said, yeah, no, he goes, it's not worth it. I will never buy, because it was all about the salmonella in the food supply.
I do, but that's why I only buy and grow now garlic, because I watched Don't watch those shows on Netflix, people, because you really will never eat food again.
That's what this one was.
But I'm going to tell you, it was one of those episodes where I watched how they harvest garlic. It was
Really?
disgusting. Yeah, it was disgusting. It was
Do tell.
Nope.
What's the name of it?
I don't even remember, but it's something in the garlic is outsourced in other countries. I'm just going to say other countries that gets brought into the United States.
Okay, I'm glad I ordered my garlic.
People using their mouth. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And I said, and I've since I've seen that, I've never bought garlic in a store.
Interesting. Hey, so, Joy, hope you're doing well, Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountain, I got rid of Netflix too.
I have it because I don't have cable. So I have like Netflix. I have some other things on Apple TV. I've got, it is full of trash, but sometimes I just want to veg out and watch something. And
of course.
Hey, Rhonda, I hope I typed in the comment earlier. I hope that you saw it, little bit of everything homestead.
Wow. That's awesome, our cabin. I've got more potatoes growing. I kind of left them in my garden. I do a lot of growing in root bags or grow bags. I don't know what you want to call them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. We could go on and on about Netflix. I mean, some of the, I guess I'll just make one comment on it. Some of the movies are very skewed, but some of them don't take into consideration. And I'm not for commercial farming, but let's be real. The American people want their food.
Well,
and they do. And right now, a lot of people have gone back to being very complacent. And the reality of it is they want their chicken, and they have no problem throwing out a chicken in the garbage if they don't eat it. Right? Because not everybody thinks about that, right? So sometimes I think the shock and awe, so to speak, of the industry is put out there, but then there's people who really don't care at all.
I know.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. Jody Young, I'll answer that question in one quick second. I just wanted to, so back in 2019 and 20, we all know, a lot of places got put on lockdown. I was deemed an essential store. And so many people, you saw what happened, out of stock on essentials, right? Toilet paper, paper towels, you couldn't get meat, you couldn't get chicken, you couldn't get all this stuff. And where was I going with this? People started learning a skill, and like gardens were the big thing. Getting chickens were a big thing because people realize that they don't have that mentality of thinking. I think a lot of us homesteaders do, because we prepare for anything and everything that could come our way, right?
Yep. And good night, Brenda.
Good night, Brenda. Thanks for being here. And when, I don't know about you, but when we got shut down, I don't know how many of you weren't really too concerned. Like, you were concerned, but not concerned because, okay, I have food in my pantry. I have these essentials because I've been doing this for a year or 2 years. You've been putting things back. Mm-hmm. So, but anyhow, who was it that asked me, Young? What was her first name?
Jody
Young. So yeah, my point is that we didn't waste back then. You used everything that you had because you didn't know if you could go to the store and go buy it the next week because there was no shipments coming in. But yeah, Jody, so there are like fabric black bags. I have a link to the Rested Garden. He sells them off his websites, and I have a link on my Instagram page that actually gives you a code for a discount. I'm affiliated with him. I use his seeds and stuff, but I use those fabric bags, which I absolutely love. And then Amazon was running a sale on some of their like metal raised bed types of things. And so I've purchased 2, and I have another one in my shopping cart that I haven't purchased yet. I'm just letting it sit for right now. So that's where I use those, because I'm going to be honest, I don't like weeding. And
me neither.
I mean, you still have to weed, but not like a huge garden where you have to get out there and really weed. So,
Yep.
but
I
I
just
do.
want to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I want to just catch up in the comments. I'm behind again.
Yeah.
Grayson Fire said she's grown her garlic for 5 years off the original seed bulbs. Tastes better. That's what I'm hoping to do next year, because I ordered seed garlic because we had a small garlic harvest. And I know, because Gwen had told me I should probably plant those, but I don't have that many and I want to eat them. So I bought seed garlic, and I bought a lot of it. So that way I can do my own. And then Gwen said the same thing that I feel. A lot of our farmers markets are more like arts and craft sales. So we have one in town, and there's like one or two people with produce and meat, and the rest are crafts or canned goods. But we do go there. I do like it. And then there's another one in Rapid City. Jesse, I have not tried it hydroponically, just because I feel like it would take up a lot of room inside and a lot of resources. Whereas if I'm able to put it in the ground outside and set it and forget it, it's good to go. I'm going to try doing dwarf tomatoes in the fall inside, to see if I can get tomatoes all year. But I think with the garlic, I like the fact that I can just plug it in the ground. We have awful cold temperatures, and then we go and harvest it, because that's pretty cool.
Do you cover yours up with some straw?
Yep. I should mulch them with some straw.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Have you tried elephant garlic yet?
No, I have not. I went with a very common hardneck. I can't remember the name, but they said that it did really well in cold climate in 4B.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a hardneck, and I'm going to do elephant garlic again.
Nice.
This year. So some of mine were a little small, but I got some good size ones. But I didn't plan a lot. So this year, because it was my first year, so I'm like, let's try it and find out if it works. So it worked. Now I'm going to do more.
Yeah, I agree, Jody. Food wasted is a crime. I agree. I wanted to go to Gwen's comment, because this is so true. We were just talking about this tonight, Ryan and I, and a friend of ours. And, she was saying, wouldn't it be interesting to know, excuse me, all the people that started gardens during the virus and all that, and are they still gardening? And so a lot of people got dogs, and now the shelters are full of the dogs that nobody wants.
Right. And the chickens are tossed out because they don't want to take care of them. It happens every year during spring.
Very true.
People are so adorable with these baby chicks. Well, they grow up just like anything does. And yeah.
Almost to the bottom.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Hi, Leanne. Thanks for being here, Mennonite Farmhouse.
Hey, Leanne. Hope you're doing well. Fabric bags are better for the earth than those plastic ones.
Well, I started using those fabric bags for the sole purpose of not weeding. I'm over weeding. So, yeah. It's just, it makes gardening easier, and I have a good variety of different size gallons. I recommend anywhere between a 10-gallon bag and higher for any type of gardening that you want to do.
Leanne said music ? I don't know what she means. Where does everyone obtain their garlic seeds? I got mine from the farmer's market last year. I got mine from the farmer's market this year. And then I also ordered through Gurney's.
I get mine. Actually, I have a beautiful nursery down the street. I'll get some there. And then when I'm up in Lancaster, I'll go to Royer Seeds and buy my garlic there. I haven't ordered from anybody else, but Lisa gave me a name, and I know. I haven't heard of music.
Oh, that's right. That's the type of garlic. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It didn't strike me as, but yes, I've heard of music. Yep.
So
Yeah, I quite honestly, when I bought my hardneck, I bought the one that was the most bang for the buck, and it was the one that everybody rated pretty high, that it was pretty easy to grow. And so, like Grace and Fire said, you take your largest cloves to plant again for the next year. And so that's what I plan to do. It's
Right.
just that mine were really small this year, but it was our first year. So
Me too. Me too. And I'm in zone 7A. If anybody, that's my zone 7A. I'm 7A, not 7B. So I just planted um, my fall garden. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to really amend my soil over the
yeah.
winter time, and get some really good compost and dump in there. And I think my soil needs it. So
Yeah. I know the one thing that I am going to change next year is onions. And Leanne had told me about this a long time ago, and that was Dixondale. And we bought onions, we've gone back and forth, all that stuff. And we ended up getting a really good onion harvest this year. But one of the things that I will do next year, now that I know we can grow them, is buy from Dixondale. They're a little pricier,
okay.
but I'm definitely going to get them.
Well, you know what? Because we're talking about this, and so many great comments are coming in. If you order garlic online, can you guys just drop the link in the comments section so we can all kind of look, where we go get it, and so we can start ordering? Because I know as soon as it comes in, it goes out.
That's why I ordered mine. And
Right.
see, Glenda's got a really great point, and that's why I bought my garlic from the farmer's market. And I said, well, for the price of the 2 cloves, right? Or two bulbs. I said, I'm going to sit there and put it in the ground and see what happens. It grew, no problem. Every garlic I bought from them grew. So I bought 3 bulbs from them that I have in the pantry hiding right now in the dark. So that way I will plant that. But she's very right. If anything that you buy from the grocery store that's been sprayed kills germination, it's not just garlic.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Let's see here. So what other things can people expect to see coming up on your channel moving forward?
Some gardening stuff is going to be coming up. Just more on my root bags, how I amend my soil, what do I do to it, and just some fall crops. I planted radish, cabbage, carrots, more lettuce, that type of thing, and more canning. I'm going to be doing a lot more preserving of food.
Awesome.
I have an electric pressure canner that I've been in love with, because I do have an electric stove that it's glass top. I have used my other pressure canner on there, but I got to tell you, this electric one is really nice because you just put it in and you push the buttons and you walk away from it, once it gets going. So yeah, I'm my next thing is going to be soups coming up. My goal is to can a lot of different types of, chicken noodle soup and some stews and stuff like that for the winter. So that will be my next big preserving coming up here in the fall.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
So
yeah, I think that it's really cool to see all the stuff that you're doing. We usually do corn and we do the freezer. So we usually put it, like cut it off, we blanch it and put it in vacuum bags.
Yes. That's on my list to get, is a vacuum sealer.
Nice.
That's on my list. I was looking at them today. I had to stop at Walmart and was looking at the different ones. And I have a Nesco electric canner, and so far their products have been really good. And so I was looking at their food saver bag thingy. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, so I was just like looking and comparing prices in that. So I think I might get that one in the next week or so.
Make sure you get the attachment for it for the mason jars.
I have that one. I don't know if it's compatible.
Okay. I had my vacuum sealer first, and so that's what we've done. So but I ended up buying the accessories because it just made it so easy with the freeze dryer.
I have, if anybody's out there who does dehydrating, I have a Magic Mill dehydrator, and I have a couple of videos on that. And I got that on Amazon. I watched this thing go on sale, and the price kept going down. And when it went down, I'm like, okay, I'm getting this, because it was regular $200. I think I got it for like 150 maybe, but it has 10 racks in it. And all the reviews were really good. And so I got that, and I dehydrate my herbs, and I've dehydrated carrots and onions. I have a box of onions in my garage that I need to process, and because those are things that I'll reconstitute into soups and stuff, during the winter months when I get that stuff in there. So I'm really enjoying doing it. I have a lot of fun with it. It's tiring, but I have fun with it.
You look like you're having fun with it. That's awesome.
I am. I enjoy it. I make mistakes. I'm not the best video person out there. And, I'm using my iPhone to make my videos because it just works for me right now. So why not, right?
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't know. My opinion on the thing is just, I'd rather see somebody being real, rather than see some clickbait on a thumbnail that has nothing to do with what's going on. And then I watch the video and it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
There's a lot of big channels that do that and they get the views. I'm not doing that. So I'd rather just be me.
I'm not a very good thumbnail maker. I just, I really literally just throw something up there that I'm like, okay, this is what the product's about, what I'm doing, and put a title on it and be done with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Great Jams, I appreciate you being here. Blessings to you. Have a great weekend.
Yes, thank you, Grape Jams. Give the girls a hug for us. We appreciate it. Hey, Corner Clubhouse. Hope you're doing well. Excuse me. So we're kind of getting near the end.
Yes.
So like what things, so you said some gardening on your channel, you're going to be amending soil and all that stuff. What would you say is like would you say food preservation is the big part of your channel, or do you feel like there's other aspects that you're going to be showing to people?
That's so funny you asked me that question, because I just told my husband that I really believe I found my niche in my YouTube channel, and that is about food and preservation. That is truly who I am. I've always, and this I know comes from my grandmother. God, I miss her. I wish I could talk to her at days, but always being in the kitchen, feeding people. At my church, I worked like feeding people, hospitality, that type of thing. And I'm just very comfortable, and I feel very natural in the kitchen, hoping to educate somebody and just having fun, and knowing that the food I'm putting away is decent food for my family and friends.
I like that. I really like that. That's very well said.
Thanks.
Isn't it funny how you go on your journey and then you find like your niche, right?
Yeah.
For us, it's really just sharing reality, right? Because one of the things that I find is that sometimes, and especially on Instagram, right, there's all the good. Nobody ever wants to talk about the bad. And I think that the bad is so important for people to learn because it's reality.
Yeah.
I mean, I laughed at escaping pigs and piglets tonight, right? And it's funny, but it could have turned ugly.
Absolutely.
They could have been out on the highway.
Right.
And I could have had somebody killed because of them. So it's funny because we got them, right? But it could be really devastating because you have to take responsibility for them, because then that's your responsibility.
That's right. And I'm like that with my chickens. Like, I can't free range my chickens out here because I have chicken hawks, I have bear, I have fox, I have coyote. How fair is it to my chickens to be pecked off like that by a predator, knowing that I should have had them secured? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I can't do that. It was already devastated enough that something broke into my husband calls it the chicken fortress that he built for me and got in there. But here's what I'm going to tell you. In my gardening journey this year, I did something brand new that I will never do again. And I will never prune my tomato plants ever again. I think pruning my tomato plants caused them not to grow. This is my personal opinion. And I will never grow any type of zucchini in root bags. I don't think that they produce the way that they need to. They need to be directly sown into the ground in order for that to produce zucchini or squash. So those are the two things that I've learned that I
Yep.
want to pass on. If any of you want to go up, I do have videos about how to make your own soil to save money, you know, and how you don't have to go buy like Miracle Grow. You know, it's not about that. And you don't have to buy separate soil for potting, for raised beds. That's all a marketing ploy to get you to spend money that you don't need to spend money on.
Yep. Sometimes when I don't have potting mix, sometimes I use the potting mix. I do, right? And sometimes I don't have it, and I'm having a cheap moment because I've bought enough of it. So what I've done is I go out to the garden and I'm like,
yeah. So I'll use, like, you know, that regular potting soil that's like $2 a bag. And then I'll use, you take a bag of that and 50% peat moss, a good granulated fertilizer, and you mix all that together, and a compost, usually a leaf mulch I'll use in there, or a compost, and you have really good soil for a fraction of the cost of buying bags that cost $10 that only do 2.5 cubic feet.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So just when you think about that, and if you amend your soil, I don't know how many of you do that for the winter months. I'm going to do that this year.
Yep.
And so that will be a video coming out, just preparing my beds for the spring.
Yeah, I actually, in my last, I think it was in my garden video, I can't remember. I know I showed it, or sometimes it's in my head. I don't know.
Right. No, I
But,
get that.
you know, I had a back garden where I had onions and garlic, and they're beds that never really did great. And I amended them, I fertilized them, I watered them, and they did great this year. I mean, like, great compared to usual, right?
Right.
Usually there's nothing. So what I did was, every time I had some chicks or turkeys coming out of the brooder, I threw the stuff in feed bags.
There you go.
And I threw all the stuff from the brooder in there for my meat birds. And I'm going to be tilling it in and getting everything ready, because
That's right.
to me, that's good. And then I have horse compost that's left over from when I bought, someone gave me a load for my strawberry bed. But I like what Blue said. She said, you learn more from having to adapt, and when things go wrong than when things always go right. It's such an important part of the learning process. Blue, that is absolutely amazing, because I will tell you, every mistake that I've ever made in my life, I will never, ever forget.
And neither will I. And that's one of the things, like, just, you want to pass that information on to people, like, hey, at least here in my zone, this is what didn't work for me. Maybe it will work for you wherever you're at, but for me, it didn't work. You know,
Absolutely.
my soil making, I have, you know, I used it and made my soil for all my bags. Now I do have a lovely nursery down the street where I can go. I mean, I can go get some serious bags for under $6, and I know it's good stuff. So
absolutely. Good night, Rhonda. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely pass on the info. Don't be scared to show the bad with the good. It's all really important. Yeah,
absolutely, I mean, Blue, I agree.
Yeah, I did a video on loss, and just because last year we had a lot of loss in between piglets, turkeys, chickens, all this stuff, and I said, we need to talk about loss, right? Because sometimes you just experience so much of it, or sometimes you don't experience any of it, and then you experience it, and it stinks. It's not that homesteaders are, we have these hardened hearts, right? We have to partition things off so we can deal with it, right?
Yeah.
But we also have to look at things in a different way to survive, because we can't sit there and be so heartbroken and crying for months that we can't handle things, right? We can have our quiet moments, we can cry about things, but we also need to then learn how to deal with it and move forward, because it is hard. But some people are not prepared for that when they come into the homesteading.
No, I remember my first chicken I lost, and I walked in that was devastating the very first time. And then afterwards, it just, I don't want to say it was normal, but there was just a part of me that's like, oh, dead chicken, pull it out, get the gloves, pull it out, you know, put it, wrap it up, throw it in the trash, because what do you do?
Exactly. Good night, Nisi. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I hope anything I said was helpful to some of you. So
it was great talking to you. I feel like I could talk forever with you.
Yeah, we could.
But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. Tina's
Lisa.
You're welcome. Tina's link is pinned to the chat. And so you'll be able to see her. And I also have it in the description box of the video.
Thank you.
But I'm just looking. Sharing your process, getting out of a rough event. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I totally agree, Blue.
Yeah. I mean, and that, we did a video on the 5 things I wish I knew about pigs, and I wish I knew about scrotal hernias, because nobody did a video on it. They all did perfect castrations. Everything went well.
No.
And those are the ones we watched. And then when you found out the name for it, you found like one video. So thank you, everybody, so much for being here tonight. I appreciate you all. Thank you, Scott, Rambling with the Brums. Thank you to my moderators. And Tina, any last words you want to say to everybody?
No, I'm just so blessed by each and every one of you showing up tonight. Thank you so much. And yeah, I think Lisa, she just has blessed me since I got to know her on Instagram and just showing up on Tuesdays and Friday nights from, is it Tuesday, Mountain Grandma?
Yep, Tuesday mornings and then Friday nights.
Just showing up and then connecting on Instagram, and it's like, boom. So
yeah. And that's one thing too. Don't overlook the Instagram community either, because each community has something different to offer. And I can tell you, like I was talking to Ryan tonight, I spend a lot of time answering questions with people, messaging back and forth. And to me, that is so valuable.
Yeah.
Right. Because somebody could watch a video, they don't really comment, they never say anything. And that's okay. But as a creator, you want to know that you are making an impact. And so it's just really cool, because from the Instagram community, people are always reaching out and asking questions. Hey, what do you do this with your pigs, or whatever? And Tony shared a great idea with me on pigs and all that we've talked about before. So
that's great. Hey, and you know what? You can find me on Instagram too. You might find it under like Tina Lovelace / Life in the Piedmont, Virginia. You want to follow me there, I'll follow you right back, and we'll just keep supporting each other and helping each other out, because that's really what it's about.
Absolutely.
We're not in this alone, so and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. I'm human.
Welcome to my world. I do that all the time.
You'll see in the video where I dumped a whole bunch of red chili peppers in my recipe and garlic came flying out. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's true. And it's true, but it's all good. But I really enjoyed talking to you tonight.
You too, Lisa. Thank you so much. And I'll be seeing you on IG.
All right. Well, listen,
thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for welcoming Tina, and have a great, blessed weekend. Thank you so much.
You too.
Take care.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.